Why is Robert One's latest couture collection in conversation with Alexander McQueen? One obvious answer is that Robert One is encouraging us to look beyond the facade of playfulness, beyond the facade of childhood nostalgia, and kind of dig deeper into the meaning of his collection. Most of the comments and reactions I've seen so far have really hailed this as a very whimsical collection. And I do agree that on the surface and at first glance, it does feel very whimsical. It feels like a fun house, it feels like a cabinet of curiosities, and at the same time, it has these very direct visual references to McQueen collections. And I've already made a separate video talking about the references that I've found. In particular, I think the two balloon dresses are a reference to this decaying flower dress. So I recommend watching that previous video to understand the correlation. All of these McQueen references that I've pulled have a sort of deeper and darker meaning behind them. All the references are objectively very, very beautiful works of art, but underneath the surface, they all sort of represent some form of decay or death or danger. In the bird look from '01, the birds are literally clawing at and ravaging the man-made materials on the top of that dress. Robert One's bird dress, on the other hand, I believe is supposed to be a reference to Snow White in the scene with the cutesy little birds, but instead of including cutesy little birds, he has included birds that to me look very threatening. It almost looks like they're trying to disrobe her in a similar fashion to the way the birds in the McQueen look are disrobing that model. The McQueen antler look is from a collection from '06 where the theme of the collection was literally dealing with widowhood and mourning, which is why she's wearing a mourning veil on top of the antlers. Robert One's antler look, on the other hand, is I believe a reference to Bambi's mother and her baby, aka Bambi, and we all know how that story goes. We all know what happens to Bambi's mother, and that's why I think this particular iteration of Bambi and her mom does have a very creepy, haunting quality to it still. One actually mentioned to Women's Wear Daily that the point of this collection is not to look at things like through a child's gaze. It's not really to tap into the inner child. It's more about looking at archetypes or aspects of childhood through a very specific adult gaze and adult vision. Because as adults, we know that the wolf is no longer trying to hide itself in grandma's clothing. The wolf is literally stood in front of us in corporate clothing. One knows that we are living through a deeply nostalgic time in culture, which is why he's giving us this collection that indulges in nostalgia on a certain level and seems to be a celebration of childhoodness. And he's not going to be the one to pop this bubble of fun and delusion that we're having, but at some point, the bubble must pop the same way the flowers on the dress must decay. I'm writing a Substack article that's going to delve deeper into the meaning of this collection as well as the McQueen references. So if you're interested in that or you just want to listen to more fashion commentary, please follow along. Check the link in bio for my Substack link.